simpler time back in the day. The younger folks may not understand this, but I'm a millennial when social media was not as big of a thing as it is now. We had the internet, we didn't have all, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, and the list goes on. Stay with me for this whole episode. It's not very long, but I'm going to tie it together with mental health, the benefits, the pros, the cons, all of that, guys, real quick. Join me in this episode. You're gonna enjoy it, I think so, and I hope it educates you more on mental health and social media. Hey, you made it to the other side. Welcome, man. I promise this will not be like a 35 minute episode to where you have to literally be home sitting and can't watch this on your lunch break or wherever you may be doing at this time. And you're probably on a social media platform, likely YouTube, because that's where this is coming out at. And YouTube is the actually most preferred social media platform used by both mentally ill people and healthy individuals. YouTube is a huge platform. It's been around for a couple decades now, I'd say. Really big one. There's other ones: Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. There's so many out there now that I can't even keep up personally. Even for gamers out there like Discord. There's a lot of good in this because I don't want to downplay social media and take a dump on it, so to speak, because there is some good that we take from this. I don't want to bash it over the head, but we have become more reliant on social media and technology in general. I remember a day when I got my first phone and stuff. It was a little, blue screen phone. It cost. It was free to talk after 9 p.m. I think. So definitely remember the older times before social media became a very prominent social fixture within our society, so to speak. And those were simpler days, simpler days, simpler days. But we can't. We have to face the inevitable that social media has kind of taken the world by storm. It's not just the Western world; it's across the nations, any developed nations. Social media is a place to share. At the very least, you can share your ideas. You can share other people's ideas. You can co-create. I've written a few notes down to help me kind of stay on track because I can go on a tangent. As many who know me know that I can go off for about an hour. But exchange content. This includes messages, photos, videos. Just you name it, man. You can share just about anything online. So many people these days want to go viral, and we're gonna kind of step into that a little bit. But it's more of a comparison thing. And we also use it to connect with family, especially extended family, people that don't live near us, or friends that don't live near us anymore. So it's a great way to stay connected, even through distance. Somebody lives far away. I'll even go to say as far to say these days we feel like we need it. Become a need, even though society and humanity has lived without it for millennia. We now need it. There's actually there's mental disorders associated with not having a phone. I didn't look that condition up, but that's a real condition. There's people that cannot leave their house without their phone. Can you believe that? You'd be like, well, you probably test yourself and try to leave the house without your phone. You wouldn't do it, would you? Would you? Could you leave your phone at your house and go to work? You cannot say yes. You may be part of the system and the problem, and I don't say that in a derogatory, negative way. It's just how reliant we have become and how we need to kind of dial it back a bit. And I'm guilty of it too. I use social media to try to promote positivity with especially my gaming content. But I like to do these mental health episodes, not just mental health, just educational episodes to help inform the public to make wise decisions, to focus on self care and the care of others, that we to show love and empathy and sympathy and just an outpouring of ourselves into other people in person, because life is personal, so we should approach life on a personal level and not behind a phone screen, because anybody can say what they want behind a screen, but when it comes to face to face, a lot of people wouldn't say less than half of what they say online in person to somebody. Up to 70% of both mentally unstable and um, normal people with no mental illness, up to 70% of middle-aged or older people use social media in some form or fashion. So it's middle-aged or older, and then up to 97% of young adults and younger people than that use social media, which is obvious. Everybody's got a phone. I hear that my wife's a fifth grade teacher, and I hear that fifth graders have phones. I didn't get a phone until I was in high school, guys, and it was a flip. Well, before that, I guess I had the little blue screen phone. I forget the brand, but the actual phone where I could text and get online a little bit was a flip, and then I got a touchscreen after that. Um, I'd like to say that another thing people like to go to Facebook for, not just Facebook, but Instagram. Facebook's a big one because that's where people will share. You can type out more. Like a Twitter X, you got 160 characters. I think Threads even has where you only can have so many characters to type out. So people go to these social media platforms to share experiences, to exchange ideas, to seek help and support, especially the mentally ill. And there are good support groups online. Do not get me wrong about that. But they go to seek help and support, to feel not alone, to hear from other people that are going through something similar, and that can always help. Let me read this little stat. So people ages between 12 and 21 years old. I think it says 70 up to 70% with psychiatric or mood disorders use social media at least. This is the minimum 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours a day or more. There's a greater sign, or more. Think about how much time if half of that time is spent outside or running, exercising, in the gym, doing something productive, doing something creative, something a strength of theirs. If it was done reading and educating themselves instead of watching TikTok videos and the like. I'm not downgrading social media, but I am speaking for. There goes one of my alarms to alert me. And yes, YouTube is the most popular and most used social media app out there. They said there's so much content you couldn't even watch it in a lifetime. I believe it because it's been out so long. There are so many content creators out there. Second is Instagram. Third, Snapchat. I didn't care to dive deeper. The podium is enough. So how do we? I'm gonna get to how do we find the healthy balance soon, but some benefits from social media and what it can help with, I guess. It facilitates social interaction. So for somebody with agoraphobia, for example, somebody that fear of just leaving the house, or problems interacting with people, antisocial people, people with borderline personality disorder, multiple personality disorder, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and the list goes on. They find it easier. They actually prefer. Many of them actually prefer online telehealth. With medical, with seeing a therapist. Like BetterHelp, not a sponsor, but and interacting with social media groups within the group, like subgroups within the platform that they're choosing. That they speak with people of like mind to gain insight on their own condition. The anonymity, where they can speak freely. They can go on as anonymous. In some of these groups, you can actually post anonymously. That's a hard word. So a lot of times it's you can vent, you can get on there and vent, and get other people's viewpoints. A lot of people will say, "Well, that's bad. Don't listen to people's viewpoints." But we do that in real life, right? Yes, we do that in real life. We ask for advice from people that we, you know, that we admire, that we respect, that we would want advice from. People form relationships online. There is a sense of community online in the social media networking platforms. I'm not gonna lie, I've met some really cool people online. A few in person that don't even live near me. So I've had some. I've scratched some things off my bucket list. I'm not gonna lie, but. And like I said, this is written down, but yeah, people suffering from depression actually prefer social media versus in person. Um, and I'm reiterating, sharing experiences. People learn coping strategies online. They feel less alone. So I guess that's a positive. Those are some positives from it. But there are some challenges. There's some cons, so to speak. From the pros, there's some cons. And the number one, and I can attest and speak to this in good faith, that this is probably the worst thing for someone: social isolation. Yes, you're connected, but you're behind a glass screen. You're not getting that community, that actual physical social interaction that we need as humans to not only survive, but to thrive in. And if you're very antisocial, I promise you, I am very antisocial. But it helps so much to go and let my hair down, so to speak, and face my fear of talking to somebody. It helps. It's something about human interaction that helps us as a species connect deeper, on a deeper level, to see somebody's face, to be able to shake their hand or hug them. Um, Definitely, there's something different about it. It's so much better compared to behind a screen, and we're gonna get into some more darker parts, like bullying, cyberbullying. Israel, it has led to people suicide, committing suicide. It has led to violent acts, which I do not condone, but people will push people too far. Um, the social comparison thing. This is just as bad as the social isolation, guys. When you start comparing to the Joneses, so to speak. Anybody know that old saying? People will compare their life, and that's the thing about social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. People will put their very best, even if it's not even real, with their husbands, their wives, their kids, and then at home, their home life is, I'm just gonna say it outright, pure shit, But online, they're posting like everything's alright. And then you got John over here, John Doe, looking at this, and his life ain't too good. He's struggling, but he's seeing this family that you're projecting online that they're this happy family. They bought a house, they got a new car, or they're starting a new business, or man, they're having another baby. Ain't that amazing? And this person can't have a baby. They're struggling to pay rent. So they don't feel adequate enough. And that, I cannot stress that enough. That is a terrible thing to go through. And many people suffer through this. Another thing, because people have their own opinions, and 99% of the people on social media are not professionals as far as doctors, psychiatrists, scientists, people of professional practices. You have your normies on there that work 9 to 5 jobs and salaried wages. Um, there's this fear of rejection and moment of silence. I say this in saying that a lot of times people will come in to vent or to share an experience, or I don't know, just share something online, and then they're judged harshly. Or there's actually been studies done where getting a bunch of likes and reactions from something you post online actually increases dopamine in the brain. That's the same neurotransmitter that's involved with our movement of our muscles, but it's the pleasure neurotransmitter. It tells the brain to do it again. It's a reward center in the brain, and when you get a dopamine drip from a bunch of something going semi-viral, or something just getting 10 to 15 likes or 20 likes, actually boosts your mood. Dopamine. I'm big into neuroscience, so I would even dare to say serotonin spikes a little bit with it too. Um, but social media is linked with greater and more intense depressive symptoms, anxiety, and risk for suicide with and among mentally ill individuals. And that's sad to read. This is off of a .gov site, and some of the studies they have done. I hate that social media has replaced in-person social interaction, because that is so important. I cannot stress that enough. We have to go out and touch the grass, so to speak. It contributes to loneliness. Now, while there is some social interaction, it's almost like AI. It's real. You may be really talking to your friend or your sister, your brother, your dad, or somebody online that but it's almost like jail, man. It's more than jail, man, because at least in jail you got the glass. You can put your hand up on the glass. You FaceTime, and you're literally separated, and we're meant to be connected. We're meant for touch, interaction, and I don't mean that in any type of weird way. Like we're meant to be a part of community in person. We've done it for millennia, and we're starting to do it less and less. And I hate for that. There's a greater chance for harassment, and I'm just reiterating on some of the cons, the negatives, man. Greater chance for harassment, and privacy and confidentiality goes out the window once you post something on social media. People like to gossip. People love to gossip because so many people don't have a life. They portray this BS online, or whatever. Maybe they are living the high life, but they go and gossip because they have nothing better to do, and this hurts individuals. I hate to see that. There's another thing, man. There's so much misinformation, misleading information. If it's not misinformation, it's at least misleading information. There's conflicts of interest online, and with this misinformation, guys, people can be led to believe something incorrect and hate another group of people or a specific person. And when we stop talking in person, bad things happen. Not just for the mentally ill. This is for society in general. It is imperative. That is all I have for it written down. But we need to go out and touch the grass. We need to go out and meet with people again, man. It is so important to be social. I'm not a very social person, but it is good. I met with a gentleman yesterday who's now become my mentor, and the meeting was such a good meeting. I appreciated it. I needed to hear the words that come out of the man's mouth. I will keep his name private out of respect and for anonymity of our conversation, the confidentiality. But it is so important that we discuss things in person and get beyond the camera, man. In my own life, my drinking days, uh, I was the type of person that would pull up on you, real talk. But I started so many fires online, but I was so lonely and stuff, and I had met so many cool people online in person, but it just wasn't the same as interacting in person without the social media interaction first, because you don't really know who you're meeting. You know, even with the dating apps, you know, that I guess they're still around. I have not used them in years, and when I did use them, I used them so infrequently because you know you really didn't know who you're gonna meet. But I encourage you today to try to spend you know, look at your. Many phones will tell you how much screen time you've had. Try to limit your screen time to under an hour. You know, or say your phone says you've been using it 4 hours a day. Try to cut it down in 15-minute increments. Down 3 hours and 45 minutes if it's 4 hours, and likewise, and try to taper down a little bit. Go out and do something in nature. We come from the earth, man. No wonder we are the most saddest, isolated generation. Social media has done that to us, and that's what the powers that be want us. They want us reliant, dependent, dumb, stupid, lonely, and behind glass screens. Let's start to change that, guys. Let's improve our mental health. Let's focus on caring for one another. I cannot stress that enough. And stop the hate, man. Stop the hate. Stop the gossip. If it's not kind, true, or necessary, it probably doesn't need to be said. I appreciate you watching this, guys. It's a shorter video, I hope, than the other mental health episodes. But I hope it sheds just a little bit of light that we do need more in-person social interaction, guys. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like on the video. Comment some of your experiences, positive or negative, of what you think about social media. I'd love to hear from people. Again, I will see you on the next episode. Stay tuned. We have a Fortnite episode dropping tonight. See you guys in the next mental health episode. I hope this helped somebody and informed the rest. You already know. O2 does the most.